Okay, hey there, welcome back. If you've seen a few of the other videos, thanks for coming back again. If you're new to this, maybe check out some of the previous videos, but also have a listen in if you're interested. So I obviously do a lot of talking about our food and our nutrition, and I'm desperate to get across to people the fact that the calorie has misled us into this land of obesity. And there are that many reports about the epidemic nature of obesity and how it's everywhere we look and what we need to do about it. And there's so many discussions around it and about it. So this is mine. This is everything that I've done with my clients for 20 years, and they've always been successful. So if we can change that view from linking the calorie in our food to our bodies to saying, okay, there's a link between the chemical makeup of a food and the way in which our bodies chemically break down our foods. So here's a really interesting thought for you, or here's an idea that I certainly progress with my clients. And I think we talk too simply about food and our consumption of food and how we eat food and digest food and consume it. So any food that we eat that is inside our guts, is inside our stomach and our intestines, is not food that's inside us. There's a very strange concept for you. So anything that's inside our guts is not inside us. Essentially, the food that we pass through ourselves, when it eventually gets flushed away, it's just being passed through us. What our bodies are absorbing through the digestive tract, through that whole 24-hour system, is pulled through the gut lining into the blood and taken away and utilized. And I think it's very important people understand that. So as an example, there's a French chap, I think his name is Monsieur Mange-Tout, and he was known for eating everything. And I think he ate an aeroplane. Check that out, have a look. I think he ate a car. But essentially you can swallow a nut or a bolt and you'll pretty much pass it out. And it's important that you understand that, because the food inside you is not necessarily inside your guts, is not necessarily going to be inside you. And it's got to pass through the gut lining to have any detrimental or beneficial effect to you. And it's important you understand that when you look at your food. We look at it too simply and say, hey, this is a calorie, it's unit of heat energy, if I eat this food it'll give me this. That's not necessarily true. So in the same way that you can eat a bolt and pass it through, potentially there are other foods that occurs with. So that's why I think we now understand that as much as eating excessive amounts of fat will clog our arteries and kill us probably in time, okay, eating fat to a moderate degree is not the cause of us becoming obese. It's not the cause of us holding too much body fat. That's down to other items such as sugars and alcohols. So the issue there is, because we produce bile and bile emulsifies fat, we can then pass it through. It's far less detrimental. Okay, whereas because alcohols and sugars in particular are not digested, because they're so high in sugar, they pass straight through our stomach lining, through our intestine lining. They affect us extremely quickly. If we're low on sugar and we have a chocolate bar, we get a sugar rush pretty much straight away, not 24 hours later. But we know to absorb everything we want from our food, it takes 24 hours passing through the whole system. It takes a long time for us to get anything from that, in the same way that in sugar and alcohol, we're drunk straight away when we drink, and we suffer a sugar rush straight away when eating sugar. So I think it's important for you guys to understand that and start to look at that in a different manner, so you can start to escape the trap of the calorie that I would contend leads us into obesity, not out of it, and start to understand your foods better. So in order for us to benefit from our food, we have to absorb it through our intestinal linings. And for a food to have a negative effect on it, it has to be absorbed through that lining. Okay, so I hope that helps illustrate a few more points for you about food and our relationship with it, and how we can look at food differently and away from the calorie. Thanks very much for tuning in. Speak to you again.